It's a decades-old horror story that continues to haunt our community. Anthony and Nathaniel Cook are serial killers who lived in our midst, targeting young couples and terrorizing Toledo.
Both have been locked up for years, but Anthony comes up for parole in just a matter of days. And some of the victims' families contacted us and asked us how this could happen. 13
ABC's Lisa Guyton spent weeks talking to some of the key players in this case, and she joins us now with the story. Lisa.
The year was 1981, and the Cook brothers were in the middle of their cold-blooded killing spree. By that fall, Anthony was behind bars in connection with one murder, but it would be nearly 2 decades before he and his brother admitted to other killings. The case changed countless lives, and those left behind are still fighting for the loved ones they lost.
It never ends. It never ends. Things like this parole hearing, brings it all back to the surface.
They took my sister, but they're not getting any part of me.
You don't get over it, no matter what.
It's one of the darkest chapters in Toledo history. The story of sibling serial killers Anthony and Nathaniel Cook haunts everyone involved.
It's almost like we have a scab here that we have now picked at again. And once again now we're talking about the Cook brothers, and those people that lived that nightmare are once again going to be faced with reliving some of those anxious moments.
Muriel Bolanic's daughter Stacy was killed by Anthony in 1981.
It's a horrible feeling when your kids die.
The Cook brothers' killing spree tore apart so many lives.
It is very emotional, even after all these years. It's painful.
Cindy Whitaker is Stacy's older sister. She was one of the last people to see Stacy alive.
I could see her walking out my door that night. I can remember every second of that day.
Maggie and Steve Moulton lost a son and a brother. Scott Moulton was killed by Anthony in 1981.
He missed out on a lot, a great deal. And we missed out on a lot not having him.
More than 30 years later, the excruciating pain simmers close to the surface.
I buried myself in family.
And that's how you got through?
Yep.
Some of the victims were killed with baseball bats and concrete blocks. Others were raped. So the fact that Anthony even has a chance for parole is hard for the families to cope with.
They don't deserve to be out. If they can kill as many people and hurt so many people, they should never walk the street.
That's where he should be. He should not be out on the street and have anybody else in danger.
No, you have to let the system work.
And do you believe it does?
We're going to find out.
Anthony Cook was convicted of 2 murders and confessed to 7 others. His brother Nathaniel was convicted of 1 murder and confessed to 2 others. But it took a lot to get to that point. The twists and turns of this case span decades.
The chill that went through our community, I think, when those 2 men were at large was very, very significant.
Anthony was arrested in 1981 for the murder of Peter Sawicki. After that, the killing spree that gripped the city for years stopped, but many cases remained unsolved. Nearly 20 years passed before DNA and new forensic evidence allowed investigators to reopen those other cases. Lucas County prosecutor Julia Bates first worked the case early in her career. Many people want to know why a serial killer like Anthony Cook is even up for parole.
Well, it's because it's the law. And people often ask, too, well, why didn't they get the death penalty? Well, we didn't have the death penalty in Ohio. Why didn't they get life without parole? We didn't have life without parole. Lucky, I guess, that we do now. And I'm not concerned because the evidence is so strong, the outrage so great, the evil so incredible, that I don't think that there will be a chance that anything will come of it.
But Bates says Nathaniel is another story. Do you think Nathaniel will walk the streets again?
Yes, I do, and I say that with sadness, and I say that with, trepidation. But that was the deal that we struck in order to not only convict Anthony, by far the more vicious of the 2, but also to get the answers and the closure for all those cases that remained unsolved for those 20 years.
And while the fact that Nathaniel will likely get out of prison angers the families, they focus on keeping Anthony behind bars.
So I would hope that they can squash this and that they won't be out, but I wouldn't stake everything on it either.
I believe in the Lord, and I think He can carry you through a lot of things that happens. And I pray a lot.
I'm sure he'll come up for it again and again and again, and hopefully he gets rejected every time. That would be my wish.
Now, according to the Ohio Department of Corrections, Anthony's hearing is set for February 23rd or 24th. If you'd like to send a letter or an email to the parole board, we have all the information posted for you at 13abc.com. On a side note, Bates says the cold case unit in her office came about because of the Cook brothers. The case demonstrated that investigators could use new technology to solve decades-old cases.